The dining room felt like a battlefield that night, the air thick with tension as my mother's words sliced through the modest space like a sharpened blade. It's just practical financial planning. Sophia, she said, her tone heavy with finality. Each syllable stacked another brick in the invisible wall rising between us. In my trembling hands, I clutched my acceptance letter from Stanford University, an achievement that should have sparked fireworks and hugs. Instead, it was morphing into one of the most gut-wrenching moments of my 18 years. I got a scholarship, I shot back, fighting to keep my voice from cracking. It covers half the tuition. And my grades, they're better than Daniela's were when you shelled out for her UCLA pre-med. My father sighed, his eyes dodging mine like I was a problem he couldn't solve. It's not just grades, Mija. Daniela's studying medicine, a sure thing. Computer science? That's a gamble. What happens when all those tech jobs vanish overseas? I clenched my fists. They've been preaching that doom for 20 years, Dad. Meanwhile, tech's exploding. My mother reached across the table, patting my hand with a sympathy so rehearsed it felt like a script. We're not saying skip college, Sophia. There's community college right here in Sacramento. 2 years, then transfer to state. Sensible. Perfect for your talents. Talents. As if my 4.0 GPA, coding trophies, and perfect SAT math score were somehow a consolation prize next to Daniela's B+ average, and her laser-focused march to become a doctor like Dad. We can't bankrupt ourselves, my father added, his voice signaling the end of the debate. Your sister's education is pricey. It wouldn't be fair to the family. The family. Always the sacred excuse except when it came to my dreams. Suddenly, I was the outsider, the risky bet they wouldn't back. I'm Sophia Morales, and at 18, I learned my rank in the Morales hierarchy. Second string. The spare kid. The practical one meant to settle. All I wanted was what Daniela got, support. A shot at a top school without breaking my back for it. Parents who believed in me without an asterisk. Instead, I faced their unshakable faith that Daniela's stethoscope dreams trumped my Silicon Valley ambitions. Their favoritism dressed up as pragmatism. That night I sprawled on my bed. Acceptance letters from dream schools I couldn't afford fanned out around me. I crunched numbers, hours I'd need to work alongside a full Stanford load. The math was brutal, borderline impossible. As sleep crept in, my phone buzzed. A text from Daniela, heard about Stanford. Don't sweat it, medicine's the real deal. You'll thank Mom and Dad later. Even my sister bought the family line. I was reaching too high, beyond my lane. Growing up Morales meant knowing your place early. My father, Dr. Miguel Morales, was a cardiologist, a legend built on his immigrant parents' sacrifices. My mother, Carmen, ditched her teaching gig to prop up his career and raise us, a martyrdom she never let us forget. Daniela, 3 years older, was a golden child from day one. She played with toy stethoscopes while I tore apart gadgets to see their guts. She joined future doctors. I built PCs from junkyard scraps. She shadowed Dad at the hospital. I devoured coding books from the library. Her science fair wins got steak dinners. My state coding titles? A nod and a nice job. When Daniela landed UCLA pre-med, they threw a bash. My Stanford acceptance, one of the toughest programs to crack, got hushed talks about affordability. I didn't hate Daniela. She earned her wins, and her neurosurgery dream was legit. What burned me was the assumption her path was gold, mine fool's gold. Still, I kept the peace, tutoring her through organic chem over Skype, cheering her victories. I figured my turn would come. I ignored the red flags, scraping cash for a coding laptop while her MCAT course was a blank check. Babysitting gigs pushed on me while she jetted to a med program in Chicago, fully funded. Your sister needs this for med school, Dad would say when I questioned it. It's competitive. As if Stanford's 4% acceptance rate was a cakewalk. I clung to hope, proved myself, and they'd see my worth. Senior year, I chased every scholarship, worked weekends at an electronics shop, aced every test. Stanford was my triumph. Instead, it was proof I'd always be the daughter they wouldn't bet on. That summer, while my friends partied before college, I juggled 3 jobs, coffee shop mornings, electronics afternoons, freelance web dev nights. For hours of sleep, every dime saved, student loans researched till my eyes bled. By August, I'd scraped enough for Stanford's first semester housing and books, locked in loans and nabbed an IT gig on campus. Brutal, but I was going parents or not. The night before I left, dinner was all Daniela, her UCLA med school grind, her genius profs. My Stanford flight barely rated a mention. Dad slipped me a $500 check, a crumb against tuition's mountain. A little help, he said. Later, I overheard them in the kitchen. Should have given her more. Mom whispered. We're stretched with Daniela, Dad snapped. Tech hires kids without degrees anyway. She'll be fine. The ache in my chest crystallized. This wasn't about money, it was about who they'd chosen to back. At the airport, Dad's "We're proud of you" rang hollow. Not worth paying for, I muttered. He frowned. But I grabbed my bags and walked away, vowing I'd never quit, never transfer, and never again beg for their faith. I'd prove myself alone. Stanford's first semester was a gauntlet, max courses. 20 hours at IT, weekend freelancing. Ramen and coffee fueled me. I studied till I saw a double. Still hit the dean's list. Winter break, too broke to fly home, I stayed in empty dorms. Christmas call with Mom. We miss you, over party noise. Dad bragged about Daniela's A's then. How are your computer classes? Computer science, Dad. Dean's list. That's nice, he said flat. Then the pitch, transfer to Sac State. Save money. Always the same, my dream was a detour they'd rather I ditch. Sophomore year, I added research assistant to Professor David Chin, an AI pioneer. Pay was peanuts, but his mentorship was gold. One night, dozing over code, he snapped, Sophia, when you last sleep? Last week. He frowned. You'll crash. No choice, I admitted. Parents bankroll Daniela's med school. I'm solo. Next day, he bumped me to his big project. Triple pay, real AI work. You earned this, he said. Your code's a game changer. I cut hours. Ate real food, breathed. Parents' reaction? Nice, but is research stable? Daniela's got a hospital internship, practically a residency lock. Junior year, flipped the script. Chin introduced me to Dr. Vikram Shah, his ex-student turned AI startup mogul. Shah offered me a summer gig in San Francisco after seeing my work. Pay was insane, I ditched other jobs. Built a supply chain prediction system that wowed execs. Last day, Shah said. Job's yours post-grad. The salary blew my mind. Told my parents, finally enthusiasm. A real job already? Mom gasped. Dad grilled me on details. Validation felt good, but off. Why'd a paycheck matter more than my grades? Thanksgiving, I flew home buzzing about my internship. Daniela dropped her bomb. Neurosurgery residency at Johns Hopkins. Parents lost it, tears, toasts, a weekend of celebration. My job offer? A footnote. Overheard them later. Supporting Daniela was right, Dad said. Hopkins. Mom agreed, then Sophia surprising with those computers. Resourceful, Dad chuckled. Good job, not medicine level. Their laughter gutted me. After all my grind, I was still the backup plan. Post-grad, I dove into Shah's company, turning my intern project into a beast. Shah mentored me, patents, conferences, respect followed. 2 years in, he asked, ever thought of your own startup? I laughed. I'm 24. You've got it, he insisted. With his and Chin's backing, I built Logix AI for supply chain chaos. Pitched to VCs, landed seed cash, quit Shah's gig. Parents cheered. But why? Daniela struggling in residency, Mom admitted. My rise was their hedge. Logix AI was Stanford 2.0, grueling, but mine. 4 of us in an Oakland warehouse, coding through setbacks. Year 2, prototype, pilot clients. Then cash ran dry. As I prepped to fold, Takata Industries emailed a demo request. Fast forward, March 22, 2025. I'm CEO of Logix AI, San Francisco HQ. Staring at a $40 million funding email, $300 million valuation. Takata's deal made us. Team 60 strong, clients global. Parents showed up uninvited, Wall Street Journal in hand. $40M. Mom gushed. Proud. Dad pitched investing for their retirement. I smiled, led them down memory lane, Stanford letter, ramen cup, rejection letters, Takata contract. We back believers, I said. Not latecomers. Showed them Logix AI Foundation, scholarships for kids like me dismissed at 18. That's my family investment. They left quiet. I returned to work. Not for them, but the future I'd clawed out. 1 line of code at a time.